each and every day after a Packers game. We're going to do this twice this week because we'll be able to do it on Friday as well. We'll give you some stocks that are going up, trending in the right direction, some stocks that are going down, trending in the wrong direction. Going to be hard to pick some of those after yesterday's 27-13 win. And again, it was really 27-6 for the Packers over the Lions. Isaac Tesla in the fourth quarter with less than a minute left.
Tesla.
Whatever. Makes one of the best catches you'll ever see.
Sick.
That was an amazing catch by Tesla. But it was really 27-6. Packers smoked the Detroit Lions. Let's do some stock up, stock down. Let's start with stock up. And this goes back to something we said before. Micah Parsons was better than advertised. Stock up for the Packers' newest member of their defense, Micah Parsons. He was terrific. And that moment when he got the sack in the second half was such a great moment at Lambeau Field. So our Tundra Trio houses, where I do the pregame show and I hang out during the game, if I don't go to the game, are right outside of Lambeau Field. And that was the loudest I heard Lambeau all day, was when Micah... I had the door shut in a house, and the house vibrated and, shook. It was that loud. When Micah got that sack in the third quarter on Jared Goff.
I'm gonna build off what you said there two ways. First, I was elated to see the sideline also with the fans' obvious eruption, to see how fired up all the guys were on the defense for Micah Parsons to get that sack that you're talking about. I mean, to say he's better than advertised, I think is insane to consider when we've talked about, the Cowboys were the best defense with him on the field and the worst with him off. And the impact of watching it in and out, the play in and play out the way we did, it felt like a whole different experience. And the other thing, my stock up is the entire defensive line.
Yeah, I do have another note on two specifically.
Yeah, I think all these guys are deserving of praise. I thought Colby Wooden filled in for Kenny Clark in a way that made you not even realize he was gone. The Lions wanted to run up the middle, and they wanted to keep, and they couldn't. And you do need to give a shout out to both Quay Walker, I think, and Edgerrin Cooper. They played a part.
Cooper was awesome.
Yeah, but that's not even mentioning Rashawn Gary. I think had an incredible game. He looked good. Lucas Van Ness, I thought maybe was the best player on the field, not named Micah Parsons.
I agree with you.
That's how good he was. He was stout. He was in and around making plays and doing what he needs to do. And I think obviously he's benefiting from Micah Parsons' presence.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think he elevated his play a big way in the offseason.
Yeah, so my first two stock ups I wrote as Parsons, and then number two was Wooden and LVN / D-line. Because the Lions, I'm going to say this 100 times a day, the Lions couldn't do anything on offense. That's how dominant the Packers defense, and specifically the defensive line, was yesterday. Colby Wooden with a career day. He had a career high in tackles and tackles for loss. LVN was playing inside and outside, and they were being creative with him. They were utilizing him quite a bit, and I thought he was super effective. He was in the backfield quite a bit. I thought this was one of his, if not his best NFL game.
Also, I love him playing down as a defensive tackle.
Yeah, he did that at Iowa.
He looks the part, and Rob Domofsky earlier today on Jen Gabe and Chewy said he didn't do that a whole lot, even though they talked about him doing that. And I thought it looked like he's supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. And I still think he can be an edge rusher, and I still think he has those abilities, and we'll see as the season goes, because they're going to rotate those guys. It's not, Micah Parsons ain't going to play every play. Rashawn Gary isn't going to play every play. But I think giving him more and more opportunities next to Micah will probably help him evolve.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Let's wrap up stock up, and obviously we could probably throw 80 names here because there was so much good about what happened in in that game in the season opener on Sunday against the Detroit Lions. But the last name that I really wanted to get to is Jordan Love. And I know he didn't have an earth-shattering performance by any means. He was 16 for 22, at 188 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. But why I put him in stock up was because I don't think I'm alone by saying I was a little bit worried about the Jordan Love we were going to see on Sunday. With the offseason thumb procedure, with obviously dealing with all those injuries last year, I just didn't know what version of Jordan Love I was going to get out of the gates. And sure, he avoided disaster. Obviously, a pick six got called back for a couple of penalties on the Lions defense. We had a couple balls that you wanted back, whether they were overthrown or whether they were underthrown or whether they went through the hands of a Lions defender. There's a couple throws he wants back. But luckily, he plays mistake-free. No interceptions for Jordan Love on Sunday. And I thought he played well overall. I saw some people getting after him pretty good on the internet. I just didn't really feel the same way after watching Jordan Love. I thought he played a really good game. It's week 1. He hasn't really played real football since, 2 drives against the New York Jets in the first preseason game a month ago. All in all, I thought Jordan Love was good, and I'm going to give him a stock up just because I was a little bit worried about what version of Love I would see in the open.
I think any criticism of Jordan Love right now is a little bit of confirming priors. I think the first throw that Anzalone should have had in the flat, that's inexcusable. I don't know what happened there. It seemed like he short-circuited. The Branch interception, first of all, that was an incredible play by Brian Branch.
And then to get right back up and run it back, yeah.
But then the call was called back. And if you watch the replay, Romeo Doubs is the first read on that play, and he gets that holding call pretty much right away. I think Jordan Love saw that flag. And he realized there was pressure coming and he needed to get rid of the ball. And he ended up throwing it to a guy he thought was safe. He still ended up throwing an interception. Yes. It got called back. So no harm, no foul there. But the way Jordan was in that first half, the comfortability and his body language, he was in total command of the offense. He looked confident and he looked like he knew what was going on. There was a play, and I forgot who tweeted. Oh, it was Nate Tice. I believe he was at Yahoo. But he said to the All-22 where, on the throw to Jaden Reed on 3rd down up the middle, Love changes the protection, stands in a pocket, looks confident, and delivers a strike on a throw that when you see the throw he made was a lot more difficult than it looked on TV. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is what we wanted to see and we've been waiting to see. And he, at no point was I like, I don't know, is he going to be able to do it? He was bell to bell good.
I thought so too. And Mike agrees with us on that. ESPN Madison on YouTube. He said Jordan did exactly what we need him to do. He doesn't need 300 yards passing. His passes were more consistent than they had been last year. He does need to work on sliding, though. LOL. Yeah, that one slide he had was very awkward.
So I've got friends that skateboard. And we had this one friend who always falls super hard, and Jordan Love has that. Whenever he hits the deck, it's like a car crash.
It looks awkward every time.
Yeah, he just like hits so hard.
Yeah, and I should say, when Mike says he needs to work on sliding, he needs to know how to slide.
Yes.
Because that wasn't even really a slide. No, that was more of, I'm going to fall now.
Yeah, he slipped and then went down. But every collision with him seems to be more brutal than it needs to be.
Yeah, agreed.
And Aaron Rodgers talked about that. One of his big evolutions was, I think, after the Shea McClellan hit that broke his collarbone, that he like had to learn how to fall and how to protect himself. And I hope Jordan can catch that message before he misses like a significant time due to being hit. Obviously, he missed time and he's had injuries. That's not new to him. But if you can avoid taking those just massive hits he's taken last year included and not fall that way, just protect yourself, man.
Agreed.
Just go out there and protect yourself.
Agreed.
Kenny Mayne with ESPN years ago did a story about the Seahawks using a slip and slide to teach their quarterbacks how to slide properly. I think LaFleur's got to break that out the next practice and teach Love to do that.
What we need is Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy needs to go up there. Remember when RG3 couldn't slide?
Yeah.
And was it Davey Lopes at the time?
I don't even know who that is.
They brought in the commies, brought in the Nationals manager.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I believe maybe a couple players to try and teach RG3 how to slide. He never learned.
He didn't. That's true.
If you want, Matt Eberflus brought a slip and slide to Bears practice last year, and Caleb is pretty good at sliding. So if you're interested in a sliding coordinator, I heard Flus is the guy for that.
Let's go to Stockton. I only have 2 things. Number 1 is O-line health. I think I wrote O-line depth hunter, so I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I meant O-line health. Obviously, Zach Tom and Sean Ryan get dinged up. But, I mean, the offensive line looked fine. I mean, Jordan Love wasn't sacked at all. But
I thought they looked absolutely dominant to start the game.
Yeah, they did to start the game, especially. Yeah.
Jordan Love, I think part of his comfortability and body language was nobody was even making a threat.
No, I think that touchdown pass to Kraft was another good example of that.
He was he seemingly would have had 4 or 5 more seconds if he needed it. But yes, big concern, short week. I don't know how you can't have a little bit of concern. I did think Darian Kennard, the tackle they traded from from the Eagles. I mean, he came in and pulled right away and then met a linebacker in the gap to help Josh Jacobs. Like, that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah, for a guy that's only been on the team a couple weeks,
yeah,
you'll take that every day of the week. But yeah, I mean, you've got Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan rotating in there. So then Morgan was playing right guard, and then Tom comes out. So you've got Darian Kennard in there. The depth isn't necessarily the concern. It's more so the health. Because if those two guys aren't playing on Thursday, because again, it's a short week. This is a quick turnaround for the Packers. Come Thursday, and you get sort of a quasi mini bye ahead of the Cleveland game in Week 3.
I feel good about Morgan having to play for Aaron Banks. That right tackle still leaves me a little concerned because I think Zach Tom is that special, and the downgrade is either a rookie or a guy who's been on the team for 2 weeks.
And I mean, the good news is, right, like, Morgan's played everywhere. So if he's at left guard, great. He was rotating at right guard. I think I said Sean Ryan at the beginning on accident. I meant Aaron Banks. He was rotating with Sean Ryan at the beginning of the game, but then Aaron Banks went out of the game.
I meant
their
to
off-season
ask,
addition.
Given their druthers and their decision making, would they put Morgan at right tackle and then stop rotating him in at right guard if Banks is healthy?
I'm sorry, I was so thrown off by the use of the word druthers.
We've already done druthers.
What does it mean?
Well, that's a tough one.
I'm asking Will.
Put it back on the list.
Given their choice.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, good job.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like if recall isn't fast enough, we got to put it back on the list.
Yeah.
You clearly haven't learned the word yet if you can't recall it.
My short-term memory doesn't work. I don't know what you guys expected for my long-term memory.
I'm moving on to my stock down. I'm giving a stock down to Matt LaFleur. Hear me out. The fact that the Packers played the way they did, the fans reacted the way they did, and he took time to fix his mouth and talk about the amount of Lions fans that were there. Hey, bro, your team's been losing a lot at home. They've lost 3 times to this Lions team at home. Guess what? Your team ain't making those ticket prices cheaper. You know who pays a lot for tickets and has been a lot? Detroit Lions fans. So maybe you guys should continue to play as well, and people would be more reticent to put them up on the marketplace. Also, Matt LaFleur, you get paid a lot. Do something about it. Start a fund. Have fill those tickets. Pay people off.
Is that legal?
I'm sure it is. You can buy tickets.
Okay.
Players do. If they pass their allotment, they just pay for them like anyone else.
Okay.
His amount of lip service and attention he gives to what's happening in the stands.
That's true.
Hey, buddy, learn how to throw a challenge flag. Learn time management first. You'll get there eventually. We'll worry about the stands when you've got everything on the field under control.
No mentions of the wave yesterday, I don't believe.
No, but he did. The fans that were here were great. The people who sold their tickets got to do better.
You don't need to paraphrase. We have the audio. Here's Matt LaFleur talking about this after the game, after the Packers' 27-13 win over the Lions.
But all in all, I was really happy with our performance. I thought the fans that showed up brought great energy, and the fans that sold their tickets to all those Lions fans got to be better.
Got to be better. I agree with him. Honolulu Blue galore, dude. I was there. There were so many Lions fans.
Hey, you can't make Green Bay a destination. You can't build up the pomp and circumstance about it and then expect opposing fans not to show up.
No, I agree with
and
that.
And you can't expect
that
people,
level.
You can't expect people who have to pay a $900 seat fee to get their season tickets, and then you charge them at minimum like $130 for a ticket, and not expect some people to go, hey, financially, this, I don't know if you know this, but the minimum wage hasn't raised and wages are flat in America.
There we go.
And tickets keep getting more expensive. So there's probably a connection to be made somewhere along the lines.
You should run for public office.
I don't want that.
I also think on this ticket conversation, people forget that Green Bay is closer to the state of Michigan than it is to Madison or Milwaukee. It's 2 biggest cities of the state.
That's a good point.
Like, there are fans literally right there. It is easier for them to go to a game in Green Bay than it is to go to Detroit because of all of the fans that are in the UP. Like, yeah, they're going to do that. That's why I know tons of people that make the trip to Wisconsin-Minnesota games when they play in Minnesota instead of driving from Eau Claire down to Madison, because that's an easier drive for them. This happens in all of sports. Matt LaFleur is the only one that's obsessed with it.
He's not the only one, but he certainly is obsessed with it. And I'm not saying he's not obsessed with it, because he is obsessed with it. I agree with you. I just don't think he's the only one obsessed with it. Because I do think, and your point on the UP is correct, and it's the same point I made on Green Bay game day yesterday, but it still does bother me that it's more Lions fans than any other team the last few years.
Given my druthers, I would love it for it to be only Packers fans. That's not realistic, and I think there is a confluence of factors. The Lions being good is one, because when the Lions couldn't win, were an 0-16 team, guess what their fans weren't doing? Traveling.
That's true. That's true.
So the Packers level coming down and the Bears, the Lions elevating balances the scales.
I guess the thing that surprises me, and maybe LaFleur as well, is it's not like the Packers are a bad team, right?
No.
And this typically happens for bad teams. Like last year, you guys remember I was out in Nashville for the Titans and Packers game.
Yes.
That stadium was full of Packers fans. And
We celebrate when we do it to other teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to do it in a few weeks in Cleveland, might add. And I would just say this also. I think that Dallas game in 3 weeks, Sunday Night Football, I think that's going to be a lot of Packers fans, too. So
Probably.
It's going to be true. See everybody chiming in on YouTube. Appreciate you.
That's
over
when
about
I was
100
getting fired up.
Yeah, I know. About 140 with you rocking with us between ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison. Thanks for being here on this Victory Monday for the Packers after a 27-13 win over the Detroit Lions. Alex Strouf, Josh DiMaggio, Will Summers, Hunter Vaughn with you on this Monday afternoon. I've got one final stock down for you. It is for the Packers can't beat good teams narrative. Wow. Bye-bye. It was fun while it lasted. See you later. As the Packers go 0-6 last year to the Eagles, Lions, and Vikings, obviously the three winningest teams in the NFC. The Packers now 1-0 in the NFC North. They're 1-0 against the Lions and 1-0 overall in the 2025 season. And not only do they beat Detroit, they smoke Detroit. So the narrative that the Packers can't beat bad teams, sure, it was fun while it lasted for opposing fans. What I say, bad teams? Well, they can beat bad teams. They did a lot of that last year. They can't beat good teams. That narrative is dead and done and gone with and 6 feet deep, because we are not talking about that anymore. The expectation is no longer, well, I really hope they show up in the games against good teams. The expectation is now, oh, they can beat the ass of good teams, because that's what they did on Sunday, and that is a fun way to start the year. Don't overreact too much to week one.
I do want to put this out there. There is a chance that if the Packers lose on Thursday, and then when they face the Eagles, if they have 2 losses, and maybe the Lions lose 1 or 2 more, that narrative's coming back. You got to win.
Joshy,
you got to win one of those next.
Joshy, I'm not going to overreact to week one here. Okay, when I say this, I'm not overreacting to week one. Don't overreact too much to week one.
What if the Lions aren't very good anymore?
Oh, they are.
What if
stop? Hold on. Wait. Let me finish my sentence.
You're taking too long.
I'm not going to overreact to week one when I say this.
Okay.
Don't overreact too much to week one this year. The Packers aren't losing very many games.
How many times? 4?
That might be high. Don't overreact too much to week one. Maybe 3. Probably 2, though.
14-3, that'd be sick.
I mean,
buying the first round would be nice.
We watched the same game yesterday, right?
Uh-huh. I saw it. I seen it. My stock down, and this is another one of my pet project things I talk about every season. NFL officiating, that call on Xavier McKinney.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know why the league emphasizes it, but I hate that it's an emphasis for about 4 weeks.
Correct, because it'll go away.
4 might be a little aggressive, because when the stakes continue to rise for games, and they mean more and more as the regular season continues, tell you what they're not going to do is give 15 yards in that situation for a guy standing over someone. Would I prefer all the players not do that? But it's a physical game. You have to be ramped up to be out there, and standing over a guy you just laid out is certainly not the worst thing to do to them.
Nope.
Would I prefer if high schoolers didn't do that? Yes. Please stop doing that. That's bad.
I prefer if high schoolers stop doing that. Yes, I would.
But it's just the emphasis thing. and the disappearing act of it just annoys me so much because it's like this big message initiative, but then it entirely disappears, and it will affect, and then randomly, we always see this, where it like pops up in week 16 in a big moment. And you're like, well, where has this been the past 12 weeks? It's just, I think the NFL is hustling backwards when it comes to that.
Well, okay, so we obviously had a lot of instances of this, but no bigger than Thursday night,
Right.
when Jalen Carter was kicked out of the game right away.
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so. However, I want to go to Hunter on this, the Cowboys fan. Hunter, did Dak Prescott spit first?
He did spit at the ground like 6 feet away from Jalen Carter.
Spit in his general direction.
And then he smiled? And as he was jaw-jacking him?
Because he was trying to intimidate their rookie guard. Dak's just a great teammate and was sticking up for his guy.
There you go.
Just being like, okay, man, like you're not going to intimidate my teammate. I'm going to talk back to you. And then Jalen Carter, poor decision maker, by the way, history of that, 130 miles per hour bad. He chose to then spit on Dak Prescott. So I think the scale of the two spits, very different.
The scale of the two spits.
Yeah.
It is the tale of two cities.